Alrighty, what's up, everyone? I am Joe Adams, and you are with the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. This is episode number 2. Honestly, I don't know why I announced that because probably about 5 episodes in, I'll forget what number we're on, but we're at 2, and I just want to welcome my wonderful friend, Tylor Gentry. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Let's go. Living the dream, dude.
Yes.
This place is beautiful, and I am excited to be here.
Hey, man, stoked to have you here.
Yeah.
We're going to train in here next week. It's going to be badass.
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Yeah. First things first, we're going to record this podcast in
let's
here.
do it.
Tylor, I've known for quite some time. I think we lost contact a while back. He owns a company named Ambition Threads, and I respect what he does. It's really cool because we're both from the same area. We both got a very similar business model. We do apparel, and it's very positive, and we're putting out the same thing. But guess what? We're not arch enemies or anything like that.
Shocker to the society.
Yeah, we don't like it. We'll get into that. Anyways, first time I met Tylor was 4.5 years ago or so.
Dude,
we were at an event, and I remember seeing him there with another guy, and they had like 2 shirts.
It's crazy.
And now you've built this badass thing, and I see you everywhere, dude.
Appreciate that,
It's
dude.
pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
So, without further ado, yeah, man, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so, Tylor Gentry, man. Born and raised in the entrepreneur hotbed of Eagleville, Tennessee. One stoplight, not a lot of stuff going on, just young kids, man.
Yeah.
Really wasn't an entrepreneur, man. I grew up racing dirt bikes. I started 2 weeks before my 3rd birthday. My dad told me, or I was actually sitting in the backyard watching my older brother do some crazy stuff, and he actually ended up hitting the garage with his dirt bike and just hit the garage, kind of like knocked him a little silly. So I walked over there and was like, man, I could probably do this. And then my dad was like, all right, well, you learn how to ride a bicycle and I'll teach you how to ride a dirt bike. So the next day I learned how to ride a bicycle and then started riding dirt bikes, man.
So you've been riding dirt bikes your whole life?
Yeah, so far.
You're like a young Travis Pastrami.
I wouldn't go that
Not
crazy.
Pastrami,
Pastrana.
God, Pastrami. That's a meat, ain't it? It's like a cold cut. Sorry, Travis.
No, it's all right. He's a legend.
Travis Pastrana. I know this.
He's been called worse, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
But yeah, no, I wasn't as fearless. It kind of came naturally to me, just learning how to ride and stuff like that. But I'm a competitor at heart, man. I love winning.
You crave that,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
If you're not first, you're last.
Winning's everything, man.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, well, let's talk about that, too.
Yeah, respectfully, winning is everything. I think I was taught at a young age that winning, can really help you. And I mean, today, even losing and winning, that whole ebb and flow is the antithesis of everything that I do. So,
I'm with you 100%,
you know what I mean?
Dude.
But got into dirt bikes and rode until, upwards. So probably about the year after I started the brand. So 2018, I retired-ish. Lost my best friend in 2013. That was like the most pivotal moment of my life. So I was racing dirt bikes. He and I were training.
Dirt bike thing, or?
Yeah, he and I were training to go to amateur nationals, and this was, probably 6 months before amateur nationals. Going to a private track out in Eagleville. He had beat me there. I was doing some chores around the house for my dad, just a normal day, and loaded up. As I was driving there, Lifelight had passed over me, and I was like, man, that's crazy. And then instantaneously got a phone call, hey, man, Casey wrecked, crazy story. And I was like, no way, this is not real. So I went from Eagleville, which is about 15 minutes south of Murfreesboro. I got to Eagleville from Vanderbilt in about 26 minutes. I mean, I was there in a heartbeat, dude.
God, man,
got there, ended up, just some brain bleeding, nothing too crazy. Several days later, he ended up passing away, and I knew instantly. I was like, all right, this is my calling. You either answer this or you go home and shelter up and call it quits. You know what I mean? So ended up going to amateur nationals, 4th in the nation in the intermediate class. Did great. Left there. Did a couple pretty decent size races. I was 2 spots away from being a national champion, which I don't like to talk about it because I get pretty angry. That close, I was pretty pissed off. But ended up just a slew of injuries, man. I broke, I've had 8 concussions that year. I broke my nose twice, had 2 more concussions, a wrist, a foot. So all that stuff. And then as I was kind of going through the last rehabilitation of a nose break, I had a dream one night, and the word ambition just happened to show up. I've always been a clothes guy. Always loved clothing. Just couldn't afford it. Yeah. And I was like, man, ambition, that's pretty cool. Prior to you'll love this one. I've told you this before. Prior to my best friend passing away, a year before that, we started a clothing line called Relentless Clothing. And it started, it was just basically like loved the name, heard it once, and I was like, man, that name is just awesome. Which obviously, looking back on it now, is why I gravitated towards you, because I was like, man, that name is sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It lasted about 8 months. I think we made probably about $800. I took a couple girls out to dinner. That was the end of that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was the end of that.
Sounds like y'all were some hot shots.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I sold a couple shirts, and I thought I was the president. I was like, what?
You see one person at one gym with your shirt on,
Not
your
even
ego
that.
just
Not
shoots
even
up.
that.
You're like, I've made it.
Not even that.
What is Nike?
Yeah. Who?
Nike
I
what?
don't even wear shoes. All right. I think, no, it wasn't even that, dude. It was, friends' moms that would buy it, or friends' moms would buy it for their kids, or like, it was nothing like what we do today.
All the
Nothing.
moms.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
so if you're still out there, ladies, just kidding. But yeah, that was my first thing. And then we kind of put that on the back burner. And then obviously he passed away, got through all that. And I was like, man, I'd like to do clothing again. I think that'd be fun as hell. And then had that dream, woke up one morning and wrote it down, ambition. And then a couple days later, I had this vision of a triangle. And I'm not an artist, but I've always been super creative. Mm-hmm. So I woke up and grabbed a pen and paper and started kind of drawing this little triangle deal. Took it to a graphic designer because I knew nothing of graphic design. And then here we are.
Man, I feel you there. I have a very creative mind, but it just like putting it out there, like on something.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Articulating that on paper is.
I have to sit with an artist and be like, listen, this is what I'm wanting.
Exactly.
And just kind of relay that message.
And pray and hope that they can get it close to what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, that's crazy. You talk about your friend getting that accident, and that hits home to me. The whole life flight thing and all that, and because everybody here knows my whole spiel, but that's wild that drove you to keep pursuing that. You know what I'm saying?
I will
like
never.
that was something that was like, hey, keep pushing. Like, and you carried that on with him with you.
Absolutely.
In
It's a
his
legacy
name, and to
thing,
me,
for
that's
sure.
beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I got chills even now. I'll never forget, like, my dad came in 2:00 in the morning, told me everything that happened, and I was like, all right, like, I remember telling myself, this is either gonna explode you to the next realm of your life, or you're
Shelter yourself.
here where you are forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing that.
No.
That's the last thing I want.
It lit a fire.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man, that's
unbelievable.
That's beautiful, and I've talked about this many a times. People, we all lose people.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate not to lose anybody like extremely close. I lost a good friend of mine last year. And it was tragic. It was drug related, but But when you lose people like that, a lot of people let it just kind of tear them down. And it's just like the best thing you can do, if you love them that much, honor them by living more.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, let them, wherever they're at, watching you, like,
100%.
go balls to the wall. And they're going to see that. And, like, that's the only way you can really carry it on.
It's a legacy thing. It's like, well, would and just speaking for myself, it's like, would he be pumped for me sitting at home, working a day job and just working a day job? Like,
damn,
no,
dude.
He'd be like, dude, what? We drew on TV.
He's like, I don't even know this guy.
Yeah. I can remember, he was born a month after me, so we were inseparable since then. Mm-hmm. I can remember we used to be huge motocross fans way back when. We would go to Walmart. I don't think I've ever told anybody this. We would go to Walmart and buy like blank Hanes t-shirts and buy all color Sharpies and draw motocross jerseys with our names and numbers on the back of them, with sponsor logos, everything, and wear them and go race our bicycles around the neighborhood. Like, that was our first, so looking back on that, me asking myself that question, am I going to keep going? Like, he'd be pissed if I just locked it up and stayed at home, never rode again, just kind of wavered through life. That's where I kind of developed the mentality of, like, life happening for you and not happening to you.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that, to me, hits home.
Yeah.
It's like, I could have looked at losing him as like, man, this world's just out to get me and blah, 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 blah. And really it's, man, that's the most life-changing moment I've ever had in my life to date.
Yeah. Unfortunately, vast majority of society looks at tragedies like that.
100%.
Like that. Like, it's
100%.
like the world's out to get them.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, you can fight that.
That's a black hole, man.
It is.
That's a black hole that I don't wish on anybody.
It is.
It's, we all go through, we've talked about it before, like just ebbs and flows of life in general. Like some days you're really, really up. Like today, I've been looking forward to this and I'm like, 3 days ago, I was just kind of like a little sour about everything. So we all go through that, but letting that consume you, dude, it's a black hole.
Yeah, I know, dude. I've been that way this week, even the last couple of weeks has been like that because I've been balls to the wall, just like Monday through Friday, then traveling for events, and then traveling, 3 weekends in a row, traveling far. And, it's just this week, I'm just like,
wears you down.
I haven't been doing my 4:30 training. I've been sleeping in a little bit. I mean, I've needed it. I'm feeling like aches and pains everywhere, but I've just kind of like been sour about stuff, like not too excited, just like,
I guess it's great.
Energy levels are super low, but you know what? I know it's just like part of it. It's supposed to be. It's how shit happens sometimes.
I think you're supposed to have that. I think it makes you better. I think sometimes you gotta be the fat kid going to the pantry and getting a whole thing of cookies and then eating them, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go train. I think it's time to get back on it. You know what I mean?
I know. I feel you there. I mean, you got to go through those things. It's it keeps you humble, I guess.
Absolutely.
You can't always be like on the fast track, just
100%.
cruising in circles. There's going to be like random shit that pops up.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So you just got to like roll over it and kind of chill.
I love it.
Chill out and get your mind squared away.
I love it.
But no, that's really cool. So it's not really cool, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's very inspiring to see that drove you, going through that whole situation. I've got some people in my life that are like my best friends. I couldn't imagine losing. So my condolences. I mean, that's something you'll carry with you forever, though, and you're just going to keep kicking ass because of it.
100%.
But yeah, so you kind of woke up. You thought of the name Ambition. You drew your triangle, which
crazy.
To me is cool, man.
Yeah.
It's just like I see it somewhere on a hat, and I'm like, that's Ambition Threads, man. I know that guy.
And it's got meaning to it. I drew it and kind of wanted, it's just like you and building a brand. It's an extension of you. You know, it's just like if I died today, hopefully people still see that and they're like, man, like Tylor created that, and that's a pretty cool.
That's
like
righteous.
I could live that. Yeah. Like same thing with RP. It's like I could live that. I could live that life. You know what I mean? And that was the whole thing. So that's why it's separated 3 ways. It's hard work, faith, and persistence.
Of course.
However you translate that, is exactly.
That's your slogan. That's your main slogan, right? Yep.
And then, as of recently, I've implemented something just to kind of put a little twist to it, just because I'm a little crazy. But
guy.
just about being original, man. Because we live in a world now where it's either copycat this or even similar to our situation. There's a lot of people that just take it as copycatting or anything like that, and it's really just about being original. Like that's one thing I could say about you and the people that we at least come into contact with for the most part. It's all about originality.
Yeah, it's pretty original and authentic.
You're not going to go out and do a hot pink t-shirt just because everybody else is selling hot pink t-shirts. You know what I mean? Like you might do it, but it's not because of someone else.
I know. I get people pulling out of the arm just for like even the ladies stuff. Like add more color, and I'm like,
but color sucks.
I don't like that. I'm like, I do maroon. I'm like, whoa, I'm breaking out of my shell.
I don't know if I could do this any longer.
No, I mean, but because there's that line, right? I mean, with me, I'm just hell bent on like staying true. Like
100%.
My brand is a extension of myself.
Right.
I need to stay true to that.
Yeah, 100%.
No matter what dollar signs are flashing in front of me.
100%.
Don't cook out and sell. Don't be a sellout. You know, stay true to it no matter what.
Right,
you know
and
what
that's
I'm saying?
it's super easy to do when, especially just speaking for my circumstance. Like I didn't grow up killing it, and my dad didn't have a yacht, and we didn't have boats. Like we struggled to make ends meet because we're going racing, and he was in the military. So it's really easy to kind of succumb to some peer pressure when people start throwing numbers at you.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
It's really easy because you're like, wait, what?
Like,
you said what? I could buy what? I could get what?
Yeah.
And then it's, that's super easy. But staying true to that has been, it was hard for me at first just because I'm at heart, I'm very impressionable. Like, when I'm around you, I want to do what Joe does. And then when I'm around, somebody else, I want to do what somebody else does and stuff like that. And it took me a long time to realize that as a man, it just took me a long time.
Especially around people that you respect and like, that inspire you in some fashion. You're like, you want to kind of replicate that in some way. I mean, I've got a brand, but I don't necessarily copy anything anybody does, but I'll look at their stuff and I'm like, man, like, how can I kind of like use little bits and pieces of that to help progress my, what I got going?
It's not, they say it's not imitation. It's not like that, but I can't think of the word, but it's basically like, it's admiration. That's the word. It's like, man, I admire what you do enough to where I would tweak it to my style and make it, like I'm going to make a maroon shirt, but I'll do white letters and do a crazy design on the back, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
just make it
it's
your
an
own
admiration thing to me, at least, for that. So that took me a long time. I mean, dude, we just had this conversation off mic. 6 months ago is when I finally made that decision. So
Yeah.
I'm pumped on to see how that goes.
Yeah, you're just doing your thing, right?
Now I'm original. Now it's off to the races.
I love it, man. Stay true to you.
Yeah.
So with Ambition, you've got your apparel brand. Like, what other projects, like, what else is connected to that, I guess, professionally?
So
like,
we do a podcast. It's called the Creating Ambition Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to.
was on that one.
Yeah. I think, didn't you have an interview with that?
Probably.
Episode 7, Creating Ambition Podcast.
Check it out.
But so I do that. I'm still navigating that area. I love talking. I love talking to my friends. I love hanging out with my friends. I love making new friends and talking about business. That's just my new passion.
Yeah.
I am not a scheduler at heart, so that's where I conflict myself every day.
Yeah.
So learning that, it's a season-based model, so we'll do 7 to 10 episodes a season, take a month off, do 7 to 10, keep it kind of rolling.
That's cool.
Just fits the schedule a little bit better.
Yeah.
I like it that way. I can take that month off and be flexible. So
that's the big thing, is creating some kind of consistency with stuff. You know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Even if it's consistently inconsistent, it's still, even if we did 1 month on, 1 month off, it's still a schedule.
Yeah.
So if I can stick to that, I'm totally cool. And shout out to Trent with Spread the Positive for doing everything. That guy's a legend.
Yeah, I liked him. He's a solid guy too. He seemed like he knew what he was doing.
Bald as a cue ball, but one of the smartest people I've ever met, and a true legend. But doing that, and man, honestly, I've taken a step back from I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I want to build businesses with people that have purpose in life, like yourself and all the people that we kind of have in contact with, and all the up and coming, all the people that might be older than us that never wanted to take that leap. My goal is to build businesses
that now are taking the leap.
that are now taking the leap.
That are willing to.
My goal is that. As of right now, I kind of wanted to going through some restructuring and rebranding for Ambition, and I want to see how that plays out. So my time is devoted to that and only that.
I know you don't want to say too much about it. Is there anything you can?
Yeah, it's just we're implementing the originality and implementing. From what I can say, like, we're implementing. Ambition is to me always has been, and I was very pigeonholed at first, but it's always been about just changing the world, like one person at a time, whether that's a shirt, whether that's a water bottle, whether that's an energy drink, like whatever you can put to the word ambition and make it tie into the brand and what our actual purpose and mission statement to the brand is,
of course,
is exactly the role we're going. So it's started in fitness and started in motocross, and it'll always be in those two because that's our roots, but I want to expand into everything. I want to do a little bit in just everything, because I think that the word ambition can fit for my old elevator pitch was, you have to be ambitious to go to the gym or race a dirt bike, but getting a triple cheeseburger and a whole thing of fries, you still have to be pretty ambitious to get through it. So
that sounds good to me right now. I want that right now.
So
I like that, man. Trying to get back on track. There's something you said right there that goes in line with staying true to it. Even if you have that one person that you click with.
Yep.
This is something I like to talk about too, because as soon as you dive into the trends, people always find new trends to follow.
100%.
You can't keep up with every damn trend. If you are, you're just scrambling.
Yep.
But if you stay true to what you're doing, instead of maybe having like hundreds of thousands of like people that follow you, that like follow the trends, and they're like, oh man, but this is the next cool thing, let's go over here.
Right.
Instead, you're going to have that X amount of people that are dedicated to you and your message, and they are like so about it, and that's all that freaking matters.
It's an army.
Even if you got 100 people that are your army and that are stay true to you 100%. For years, it doesn't matter if you got hundred thousands. People need to understand that. You
instinctually stop chasing trends and start setting them for yourself.
Yeah.
It's essentially the goal that I would have, and this is just on the fly, but it would be, I want to set the trend, and we're the leaders in that, yourself included, and everything. I want to set the trend of like, hey, let's make instead of the narrative of all this crazy, like this world that we live in. I mean, we just talked about it. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. People are crazy. People are falling off their rockers, literally. So our mission as a brand, as a people, as whatever, is let's just change it. Let's just make it to where if we all end up falling to the fire and doing all that, at least someone says, yeah, but we almost had it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I'm cool
Let's just
with
be a light.
I'm cool with leaving that mark. And I think that's the trend that I think we could set.
I'm right there with you, man. I think it's it's really cool because like I said, we're so in line with what each other are doing. We're kind of got the same mindset,
100%.
and I love that we've come together and we're we're working on trying to get some other projects going and stuff. Yeah. I want to tell everybody about the frat kind of thing.
We hadn't even got it.
I've been having some ideas. I was thinking about it last night. I thought of some cool ideas.
There it is.
Just ridiculous stuff. And I'm like, people would pay for it.
And that's just fun. Exactly.
Fun shit. We go to the race, do a photo shoot at the race.
Talladega, just ripping and roaring.
Yes, dude, just tearing it up.
I think I brought that idea to you, and it was basically, that's what I said. I think you get so caught up in like this whole rat race of everything, like we forget to have fun, everyone included, myself, you, like you just said, you just went through a week of Monday through Friday travel, all this stuff, like it ends up not being fun every now and again. And don't get me wrong, this is my passion. I'm going to do this forever, but I don't have to love it every day. You
got to remind yourself, I have to tell myself, like, but at least I'm doing what I love. I'm on my phone at 10 o'clock at night sometimes because I'm trying to like work with somebody else about some marketing aspect or whatever, or something, or trying to get some apparel shit ordered that it's just been taking all day to figure out the logistics. And it's just like, it's frustrating because I just want to put my shit away. But then it's like, well, why am I bitching?
Just remember,
because this is my choice. I chose to do this, and it's awesome.
Just as easy as it is to have that same mindset of like, oh God, I just want to put my phone down, it's just as easy to flop back in and say, man, just remember, like, this is fun. Remember, this is what you wanted. Remember, this is what you've been working for.
No one's forcing you to do it.
Nobody's forcing you to do it. It's powerful, man.
That's a pretty cool thing.
It's powerful.
We're very fortunate.
I could not agree more.
But yeah. And another thing I want to add too, we were talking about like seeing our logo somewhere, like, having that impact and not being a trend. Like I have no issue with telling somebody that is a terrible representation. Like if I was to see him out in the street being just a jackass in one of my shirts,
100%.
Like,
hey man,
you don't represent that.
100%.
Like I don't care to sell 1 million shirts. Like I always try to stress, like, if when you represent like Relentless Pursuit, it's like flag of honor, like you wear like a badge. That's like, strong. Hey, I wear this because I live what this message stands for. I could care less if you're buying it just because it's a cool design. Like, really, that doesn't matter to me. It's the impact that message has. Like, that's what I want people rocking it for,
That's huge. So I'm gonna turn the tables on you just because I'm also an interviewer. And I'm just curious out of this. Like, do you see – what do you see for RP in the next – like what's something – maybe not what's next because obviously, like – we also abide by, like, we're obviously going to do clothing and, like, stay in that realm. Mm-hmm. Like, what's some piece that is just something near and dear to you that is that actual flag?
What do you mean?
Like, this shirt that I'm wearing, I wore it for a reason. It's, for people that's watching, it's the concert tee. 2 colors. I designed it off of a whim, like, a year ago. Yeah. And never wanted to release it. I hated it. Like,
I think it's pretty rad.
It's a sick design. Yeah. Love it because I love Def Leppard and like 80s rock and stuff. Yeah. So like tied that in there and put the lion on there because it's an ambitious animal. Yeah. So there's meaning behind it. And there's meaning to the whole thing because I hated it and never wanted to release it. I saw a couple coworkers and showed them and they were like, dude, that's sick. Do it. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
You kind of get in your head about it.
Yeah. And I was like, it's the same thing we were talking about earlier. I don't know if that's me. Like, I don't know if it's me. Released it. It was the top selling shirt. Still is today. It's out of stock and it's still like people email us all the time. Like, are you getting this shirt back in? Like, I want a shirt. And when I released it, it was a leap of faith of like, okay, like I'm just going to trust the process and trust that this is where it's going to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it ended up being a hit. And it's like, is there something that RP has done that is similar to something like that? Like this shirt to me will be the most meaningful shirt until something even crazier comes along.
Of course. I mean, I will say so that I like doing like the quote tees. Yeah. I love that. And a lot of people tend to really grasp
towards that.
Like
the only greatness.
Yeah, only greatness, start yesterday. And so I like put a lot of thought into those. Like, I don't want to just put a quote on there for the hell of it. For sure. Like the Lux and Tenebris one to me. Yeah. Like that's powerful. And it forces people to ask because it's in Latin, light and darkness. And you explain why it's light and darkness. And it's an old saying, but you explain what that's about. We are a light in this dark world. Right. But, so the different quote tees, like I really just are big to me, man. Right. But I will say that like the latest shirt I love a lot is my Till Death tee.
Dude, that thing is
because it's not like the typical shirt I put out there. Yeah. It's aggressive. It's got the shield with the scythe on it. You know, it's real like metal looking, but that's like fits me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you look around in this art in my room, like it's all like dark, wicked looking shit.
Right.
But that's just like, I love that stuff, you know? And that tee, it was like, all right, this might be just this is a special release deal. Like it might not sell like crazy, but I'm selling them like crazy. Like females are like loving the crops. Girls that you wouldn't think would wear
this little dainty 90-pound girl. She's like, I love it.
Oh my gosh, it's till death. Yeah, it's like all brutal. And I love it because it's like till death, man. And it's just a simple statement. Yeah. And if you know what Relentless Pursuit's about, it doesn't need to say much more.
It symbolizes it perfectly.
That's what you should be on till the day you die is a relentless pursuit, never ending till you're 6 feet under, you know? Then like to me, like I love that. Right now, that's my favorite.
So you think that's the quote tees and stuff like that? That's always be a part of the brand somehow,
I think so, yeah, because it's always something cool to put out there. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that the quote tee is powerful, and people remember those things, you know, and they're hashtagging them and stuff like that. But I mean, damn, you know,
that's funny.
To think where it's going to go, right? Or what's the next step? I know there's new things I'm tackling as far as like, you know, the Ironman team and you know, trying to grow the fight stuff and all that. But I hate to be like, this is where I see it going.
Right.
You know, because
it changes.
It changes, man. The last few years have shown me how crazy life is, and will throw shit at you that you not even fathom. You know what I'm saying? Like the big thing was the wreck. So I try not to like be like, oh, this is where it's going to go. Right. I try to like take steps, but also go with the flow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So because you never know what kind of opportunities are going to arise, and so like I just know I'm going to ride the wave hard as shit. You know,
you'll be the best wave rider you've ever seen.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do the best that I can and just keep following my heart and like enjoying it and loving the process and let it grow organically.
That's sick.
So and if you try not to stress too much about what the expectations are and just let it be organic and natural and like enjoy it, things are going to work out, man.
I completely agree. Yeah,
things work out.
And I even like the riding the wave. That's very difficult to say when you're talking fast. Ooh. But riding the wave is huge.
I need a shirt that says "Ride the Wave,"
dude. And just, you know, maybe not.
Yeah.
It'd have to be like the Grim Reaper on a surfboard, maybe. If it fits your style.
I mean, we can make something. Dude, you know what? You got my.
Okay, people, we'll be back.
All right, Alexa, I need to talk to you right now. I'll get she kills it. Shout out to Alexa. You're the shit.
You are.
Yeah. I think she's working on something for you.
I hope so.
But anyways, let's take a really quick break, and then we'll get back here in a few minutes.
Fellas, I don't know if you've been watching this podcast, but this is a beard. Joe, he has a beard. Are you a man with a beard? Then you need a man with a beard. This beard oil, Joe, I would really like for you to tell us more about it.
Let me tell you a little something. My buddy Mark Thompson over at Strong Body Nutrition makes this stuff. And I'll tell you what, this guy's beard, you ever seen Lord of the Rings?
Several times.
The dwarves. It's very similar. He's got one of those beards.
So
probably goes down to his knees.
Fun fact for you, Joe shaved right before this podcast started.
And I put that on.
And he applied man with a beard.
And it grew back to this. No, Mark is a professional when it comes to this stuff. He's got an amazing beard. It's you can't really top it. Yeah, it's
quite impressive.
Beautiful, and he knows what he's doing, and he takes care of it, and uses all the best oils and ingredients. Nothing crazy. It's all natural, and so this is his stuff. A man with a beard, revive and restore, handcrafted beard oil. You can't really beat it. Go check it out at Strong Body Nutrition in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Even if you're out of state, California, make a trip, get some beard oil. Maybe you can crash at my house, maybe, or in my garage.
Maybe Mark will let you crash in the back of the store. Or maybe Mark ships it to you. Yeah. Who knows?
You never know. I don't know. I need to ask, but definitely check it out. Definitely worth.
If you don't have a beard, fellas, be a man with a beard.
And Mark's the man. He got my apparel in his store day one, and I appreciate that. So I want to get his stuff out there and support him. So, and also, Relentless Pursuit. Check us out. And Ambition Threads, Tylor Gentry. Definitely check out that gear. I'll go ahead and say we're going to do a discount code.
discount code live here. We're gonna call it Relentless Ambition.
Yeah, Relentless Ambition on both of our sites.
Both sites.
What did we say?
We'll do 20% off.
20% off. When this episode drops, you'll get a 48-hour window to get on either one of our sites and order some cool stuff.
And then I just want to throw in this just little zinger for you.
Oh,
First of all, I'm super grateful to be here, so thank you.
of course.
All the listeners, you share this podcast and you shout out Joe, myself, or both of us at the same time. We'll enter you in a giveaway. Let's do a T-shirt apiece. We'll throw you a giveaway up there.
I'm down with that.
So share the episode, tag me and Joe. We'll shoot you a couple T-shirts.
Free shipping, all that good stuff. Yeah, we'll each give you a shirt. We'll make it something. I don't know. We'll do something cool like that. But yeah,
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great. Two free shirts for sharing a podcast. I don't think you can get any better than that.
And a discount code to support like the best apparel out there.
Relentlessly ambitious people.
Relentlessly ambitious people. Remember,
in pursuit of being ambitious.
Yep. Jesus. We go all over the place with
Taglines, people.
Taglines. We're
Share
crushing it.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, baby. All right, so we've talked to Tylor. We know a little bit about his background, what led to Ambition. Excuse me. What led to Ambition? Some things he's been through, some struggles. Moving forward, and we also learned about like what makes our brands very similar, and what connects us, and has built this friendship, which is awesome. So moving forward, what are some pursuits you're moving into? You know what I'm saying? And what are some things you're doing like outside that behind the lines that people don't know?
Yeah. So like I said, like I'm a businessman at heart, and arguably I developed that about 8 months ago. I'm now a businessman. I've been in business for like 5 years, but I just learned how to do business about 8 months ago.
You got entrepreneur on your bio?
I do actually. It's
you need a blue check mark.
My new Instagram name is going to be Tylor Gentry Entrepreneur. I'm just kidding. But I just love business. I find myself on forums and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So basically my long-term, my clear vision of the future for me would be, like I said, there's going to be some moves to be made around helping entrepreneurs and helping. I want to start a foundation or a school system curriculum that ties into on-job learning. I went to college for about a semester and a half, and I'm not knocking college at all. I think college is great if you know what you're doing and all that. I didn't know what I was doing. I just went to college because that's what all the kids were doing. So I want to create a curriculum that takes people like myself, obviously if you're in agreement, like people like yourself, people like us that don't necessarily know where to go, put you somewhere in a curriculum. Obviously this is super loose. It's not been refined yet, but I just want to fast track entrepreneurs, and not fast track in a dangerous sense, but basically just fill in the gaps of uncertainty. We're pushed to college right out of high school.
Yes.
And I don't think, dude, me at 17, all I could think about was dirt bikes and girls. That's it. That's the only two things I could think about.
Yeah.
So when life hit me, I was forced to address life instead of, I shouldn't say that. I should say at 17, you don't know what you want to do. Most people don't. And I feel like
you end up having a reality check.
Yeah. There's several little reality checks that kind of point you towards your direction. And I feel like that creating a curriculum that can put you on a track to find that quicker, I think there's a huge space in the market for it. And not necessarily I'm not doing it for money. Money's great. Money's a tool. Money's, it is what you think of it.
Yeah.
I think it shows who you really are. I think if you're a good person and you make $10 billion, like you're just going to give it all away anyway. You know what I mean? Or if you're a hoarder, like you're just going to hold your $10 billion, and that's not going to affect me either way.
I don't know. I don't imagine. I was talking about this yesterday. Like one day, I'm gonna die. But no one's going to give a shit, or like no one's going to remember what amount of money was in my bank account. It's the impact you have.
Exactly. And that's the impact that I want. I want to take those entrepreneurs and show them that like literally anything is possible. There's been things that I have attracted, by the grace of God and by just working towards it, that you could have told me 10 years ago, and I'd look at you like you were stupid. Yeah. I'd be like, what? I'm not going to do that. But setting your mind to something and attracting it, I think is not – people don't teach it, and it needs to be taught.
Especially if your heart's in it.
100%.
You know, and I think that's something powerful we could teach people as well, or you could teach people is, you know, to follow their heart, you know, like don't just do something because it sounds like a good idea or it sounds safe or just because it's profitable, because you may freaking hate it. And then you're invested into something that you're like kind of miserable at. Like, make sure you're kind of following a path that, or you are following a path that like speaks to you and that you're going to love it.
100%.
You know?
There's two things to that, and it ties into the school thing. One of the pursuits is to build that school curriculum with top entrepreneurs that I know and just my friends like yourself and all the people that we have in our circle. Like we know how to build a business. We're obviously currently doing it, and time will tell that is a true statement. So I want to pull in kids that want to learn anything and us teach them and work with us and change the world that way.
That's badass.
I think that tying purpose to that, like you said, it's like where your heart is. You can monetize your passion.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are or what you're doing. If you know, an artist, like an actual artist will tell you that, especially nowadays. Used to, if you were going to get your art degree, people would be like, for what? You know what I mean? Like art degree was such a weird, because I was contemplating it at one point. I was like, dude, I love art. I think art's sick. Yeah. And telling an artist that nowadays, like, you can monetize.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, in anything. I mean, you know, now it used to be, you know, in ancient Greece and whatnot, you had these sculptures and the art was just so elaborate and insane, you know. Now you can pour a bucket of paint on a
100%.
Canvas and be like, I want like $500 for it. Someone's like,
$5,000.
Someone's like, yes, dude, give me that shit, you know.
I just fully believe that if you're truly passionate about something, I think you find a way to make it your life.
Yeah.
And that's my thing here. It's so much bigger than a brand, and you attest to this too because you're this type of human. It's T-shirts and it's cool designs and whatever else we do, but mainly I want when you wear that shirt, you just want to do good stuff. Mm-hmm. Like no matter where you're at or what you're doing, even if your worst enemy is staring you at the face, you just look at him and smile and be like, man, if there's anything I can do to help you or make you change your mind, just let me know.
I think that's the truth, man.
I think that's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So if a shirt can do that, sweet. If we can build businesses that do that, sweet. Let's do that.
Because it's different. Yeah. And I like that because, you know, there's obviously things I want to do, and we've talked about, you know, a Veterans Day thing, but like doing, you know, approaching opportunities and doing things to raise money for certain groups of people, or, you know, specific individuals that's going through something like, hey, you know, we want to do a fundraiser.
Right.
But giving's great. And like, I'm always a giver, man. I believe generosity is a key to life, honestly. Like giving without like really expecting shit back, just like giving because it's in your heart and you know it's 100%. Right, without having to tell anybody about it. Just like give, because to me it's just a powerful thing to do. And I don't know. I've always been maybe overly generous, and like I have to, you know, be reminded sometimes like, hey, don't do like give 100%. All your shit away, you know. But I do think that's key. But like what you're saying is you're giving people opportunity. You're not necessarily just handing them something for free. Yeah. You're giving them a platform in which to like build something on their own and actually like profit from it and like grow and make a life out of it. And I mean, I think that's fucking cool, man.
Something that I learned at a young age, you can't do everything for everybody. You know what I mean? Like I could come here, I could give you an infinite checkbook. I could give you all the resources that you'll ever need. And if you don't have the passion or want to do it, you're going to have an empty checkbook. You're going to have all the resources that you'll ever need just sitting there waiting on you.
Yep.
You know, so all you can really do is provide the opportunity and the insight and the wisdom behind it, and then the rest is history. Yeah. But that's the thing. When you build something like what we're building, you know, separately with RP and Ambition and all these great companies, like what you build with that is just that. It's just the opportunity to be a good person. It's the opportunity to be motivational. It's the opportunity to dude, just like I said, I want to change the world. I think I've had the vision for a while, but I just genuinely think that with motivation and positivity will always trump anything that's out right now. And I think we can change the world.
Without a doubt.
100%.
Without a doubt. Sorry, man. Drinking those energy drinks, man, get me all burpy.
And they're delicious.
They are good. The Ghost ones. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of good ones out now. I don't even know.
To that point, I had one more thing. I think that's one pursuit is just passion. Like I love people, and that's just my one passion project. Yeah. One thing selfishly that I want to do, I used to race dirt bikes. We have a common love for fighting and the sport of fighting. And there's a couple other things that I'd like to do. I'm weird when it comes to fitness. Like I really like suffering, and I think that's kind of partially why I'm an entrepreneur. I really like getting hit in the face. I think it's a key to life.
Hey, I know all about that.
Yeah. So I have this passion of we're going to start kind of producing more content for Ambition and the brand and stuff like that. But one thing is that you can't have a motivational brand and not be motivated. So I would like to do a pretty big motocross race, have a fight, and do a couple big events for myself in a year.
Yes.
I think I want to see how far I can push myself. I've been doing a lot of mental pushing lately of just research and just development on my full mental state, and I really want to do that physically as well. So I think doing that would just be
lead by example.
Sick. Yeah, at least. Even if I go and get my ass kicked both on the track and in the ring and on the bodybuilding
But it's
stage,
the action of doing it. It's doing it.
Exactly.
The idea isn't going to get gold or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I obviously, you had that winning attitude.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
100%.
I can relate to this. I'm leading Relentless Pursuit, right? But I've got all these athletes that are pursuing some physical goal, and I'm like, well, I'm not.
Right.
Maybe I'll train every day, but like for what?
For what?
So my goal is to get in the cage,
Yeah,
and
I think that's great.
And I want to tackle some other things. It's like, why the fuck not? And be the example. Like everybody that's kind of following you and a part of what you're doing, be like, hey, I'm leading the charge. I'm taking on some shit too.
And it's good for us too. I think, growing a business is hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. I don't think I'm not going to stress that enough. Like there's really, really hard times. There's really, really good times.
Yeah.
But I think it's also good. Not only is it good for people that look up to us, but it's also good for people that like us that are just we're high level performers, high level thinkers, whatever you think. I think it's basically just breaking the narrative of like you can't do everything. I just want to prove to everybody that you can do everything. You can do anything and everything whenever you want to do it.
I tell you,
I think it'd be sick.
Yes, yeah. I know exactly how that is because I want to do it all.
Yeah, I think it's truly possible to. I think it's possible to do a motocross race, a MMA fight, a whatever else, and run a business and raise a family. And I just recently got engaged, and I'm like following your path.
Congratulations on that, by the way. We're both like pretty newly engaged.
Super pumped on that. But
that's beautiful.
Just as much as I am tried or not tried, but just as much as I put into learning business and learning how to just navigate the business world, I do the exact same thing with my family. Like I try and, make sure I'm communicating with the fiance, and we have a 7-year-old, and I'm trying to like figure that out. Like kids are crazy, man, and I'm trying to figure that out. But also what I learn in business, I can translate to my personal life and figure, and learn that, and then also vice versa. So it's just not to steal your brand name, but it is a relentless pursuit to chase. I'm just chasing progression. I want to see how good I can get.
Chasing progress. Oh, man. You'd get along with my buddy Andy. He owns Norse Fitness, and we were just talking about this. Like, we're addicted to progress, and it's just like this constant, just like boom, boom, boom. And I'll get y'all introduced one of these days. He's a very solid guy, but we were just talking about how we were just like, that's all we can think about is progressing in every avenue of life,
It's almost, I've done some crazy stuff in my day. It's the best drug ever. It's the best drug ever. I think waking up every day and figuring out, all right, well, I did 4 things yesterday. Let's do 7 today. And even if I just get 4, even if I get 2 or 1, whatever, like let's just set goals and just crush them. And if we don't crush them, let's just get to the door that opens the next one to get to the next one to open some more doors for more goals.
Yeah, dude, I have my daily checklist. And sometimes, I'll go through and there's like a handful of things that I got to move to the next day. But it's like, oh, well, shit, at least I knocked all this out.
100%.
And because it is hard to do it all, and like often because we are the way we are, we stack our plates too high. But you kind of just shrug it off, and you're like, all right, well, just keep doing it.
I'm not a fighter yet, but it's just like fighting.
Yeah,
it's just like fighting. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm finna roll on the floor with this dude, and I've got it controlled. Yeah, sorry, PG-13. I've got it controlled. I'm in control, and then all of a sudden you pop up right to the face, and you're like, okay, that came out of nowhere.
So I'm
either gonna you either get hit or you get down.
You
So
get back up,
I'm
yeah.
gonna keep it rolling.
Keep rolling with it, man. That's all you can do.
I'm obsessed with that. I think it's I think that's the Gatorade and the Kool-Aid that we all need to be drinking.
Well, and also, you know, Kate and I want to start having kids next year, and I think that's like been a lifetime goal of mine is to have like a family unit, you know, and so I'm super stoked about it. And I know my whole life's going to change, right? But you talk about you're like now you're a father and whatnot, and you know, and people are like, oh, you can't do this with kids, and it's like watch me, because it's like my thing is what kind of message are you giving your kids when you're like, hey, I had to stop doing all this shit because of you. It's like, hey, watch me kick ass at life because this is what I want you to do when you're older.
Dude.
And it's lead by example. Your kids are watching everything you do. And if you're just kind of like take the reins back, oh, I'm just going to take it easy on everything. Like I want my kids to see me, you know, sitting there in their, you know, they're a toddler in the corner of this gym and I'm training and I'm working with my coach, like 100%. Boxing and stuff. I'm getting hit. That's going to have like a long-term effect, and you got to like, you can't limit yourself, man.
Dude, I think, I mean, that's monumental.
Yeah.
Just because I was raised kind of that way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like I have great parents. I would never take anything away from them. They never said I quit all this because of you, but there were choices that had to be made.
Yeah.
That just for sure, like, hey, if we want to live, we have to do this. So I have to give up this. You know, my dad was a motocross racer and had a full dream. Had a broken leg, pretty bad incident, and had to figure it out. And his figure it out was let's join the military and kind of build a military career. And that's exactly what he did. Yeah. Just retired, loving every minute of it. Yeah. But he led by example by that. And it's like that was one thing that when I saw that as him, you know, doing all those things, I was like, man, when I have kids, I'm going to do everything in my power to not only live and make sure that they can live their passions, but I'm going to make sure that they're not going to hinder my passions. Because I used to have a horrible outlook, like if you had kids, your life's over. Dude,
oh yeah,
that's the best thing that's ever happened.
What a terrible, what a terrible, like, I don't know. People suck when they say that.
And you know, that goes back to the life happening to you versus for you. You know, you can look at kids as a crutch.
Well, mindset is everything, man.
Exactly, dude. That kid is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah. In a sense of like, it's calmed me down. It's made me really analyze things, but also at the same time, I'm a big kid, man. Yeah. Like I eat fruit roll-ups and Gushers with her. Like we rock and roll, man. Hell so yeah. Kids to me has taught me that you can totally have balance in your life and it'd be completely acceptable.
Exactly.
That's huge, man.
Well, I always think of like the old, the solar, like the Greek heroes and all these heroes of like, you know, ancient Europe and stuff that were just, you know, a lot of them maybe had families and stuff, but they were out and they were remembered for thousands and thousands of years by going and conquering these lands and just doing these amazing triumphs. But yet they were so disconnected, and it was a little different back then. But nowadays, you're able to like do all that badass shit. Like maybe not like, you know, I'm not going to go conquer a country.
You don't know that.
I mean, I might have to.
Hey,
I don't know.
Listen, watch out, countries.
Yeah, watch out.
Joe's got a neck tattoo.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the first president with. I'm not even gonna be a president. I'm gonna go above that. I'm gonna be the king of. No, I'm just kidding.
If you're president, I'm vice.
We've already signed this. No, but you know, but you can display that heroicism and that action right with your kids right there. Dude. Like we're at a time where we can be that hero because that's something that we don't have nowadays.
100%.
They're not out there doing people. I don't know, man. So that's the example I want to be. I want to be. My kids look at me and be like, man, my dad is a freaking hero.
I think for me, it's you know, and a lot of guys say this that I look up to, but it resonates with me. It's a highlight reel. Like I want my highlight reel when everybody's at my funeral. Woo. Hopefully all of my peers and my friends outlast me because I want when I go to my funeral, my PowerPoint presentation is just like all this Rolodex of craziness.
Did you see the writing I put out recently about like your life being a movie? It's
similar to that.
Same thing. I said, well, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
Like Tolkien. I'm worried about the Amazon thing coming out. We'll see. But Tolkien killed it. I love Lord of the Rings, but I'm like, I wrote about that, and that's what I reference is like when I die or I'm on my deathbed, I'm playing my life as a movie. Yeah. I don't want it to be some bullshit that I like am bored of. Like 15 minutes through, I'm yawning like, oh man, I'm going to have to start this tomorrow. Right. It's going to be like Lord of the Rings, like just this epic adventure that I'm like hooked on. And years later, I'm still hooked on it, you know? And like that's what I want my life to be because why would you sell yourself short? Like I think everybody should kind of like envision something like that. And
at the same time, it's not only that I want my friends, my family to watch that, but like I want my kids to watch that. Be like, dude, that dude is a legend. Like
no matter when you go,
crazy. So that's my thing is like, and it's taken time. Like I said, I didn't make all these decisions overnight for sure.
Yeah.
But I think now it's like everything that I'm faced with now, no matter how hard it gets or how easy it is, it's like, all right, well, is this going to be a part of the highlight reel or the book that I'm writing? Is this going to fit in, and is this going to be just as compelling as I want it to be?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I could shut the book or turn the movie off and call it quits and not do anything ever again. Just come over here and work out every now and again, and just live that lifestyle. But that's not a good movie, man.
Yeah, I know, dude. Because there's those days, man. We talked about the days where you're just kind of like, ugh, fuck this.
Right.
And I had that every once in a while, and I'll run into like some old country folk or something. Like there's a guy up the road that just sells eggs to me, like
Legend.
and he's just an old guy named Royce, and just such a simple life he's led, and sometimes I'm like, man, simplicity seems so nice.
Yeah.
But I know that's not what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to do great shit, and then,
100%.
I can't just have a simple life. And it sounds beautiful every once in a while. Like, just imagine just selling everything off and letting some investments do stuff and having a bunch of money and just kind of just enjoying the simple things. But you got to create that balance. Like, no, you can enjoy that simple stuff, but be great at the same time.
And who knows? Who knows? You get some success and 10, 20 years goes by and you change your mind. Like, there's no telling. There's no telling. Yeah. How I feel now and what I know now, I can't wait to learn more and do more and just be everything that I can be every day. Not to be, what is that? The Marine Corps, don't they say that? Be all you can be or whatever.
I was Air Force.
Well,
fly, fight, win.
Oh boy, I'm just kidding. But it's cliche for a reason. It's cliche because that's what I think that's what everybody should do.
Yeah.
You should want to do everything that you can all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then which there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
yeah.
We're not saying that.
No, do what makes you happy.
We're not saying Royce up here selling eggs is
do what
a
makes
loser.
you happy, but don't settle.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of people just settle
100%
because they're comfortable. Comfortability, man.
Comfort is a slow
It is.
death.
But there's a majority of people, unfortunately, and not to attack anyone, but people just get comfortable in the situation. They're like, all right, I'm here. I'm paid well.
Right.
Got decent health or whatever, maybe bad health, but I'm comfortable, like there's not a lot of
Nothing's going
exterior
on.
stress,
Right.
Nothing's going to change on me.
Right.
But I can just keep riding this out, get a steady paycheck, and we're good.
Yep.
But it goes back to the highlight reel thing. It's like, man, you watch a comfortable film, it's going to be a very boring film.
I usually fall asleep.
Yes.
So
it's going to be horrible.
Okay, so here again, I'm going to turn the tables again because I'm an interviewer.
Damn it.
What do you do when you're down? When you've had the week that you've had previously, that you were speaking on earlier, what do you do to get back into the rhythm and the flow? Because I have a few things. First of all, it's usually when life starts to get out of whack, my morning routine. For my favorite time of day is 4:30 to 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's every day.
Yeah.
I make my coffee. I'm very bougie. I sit on my couch. I put my headphones on. I pray. I meditate. I do this brain training app. I write every Monday. I write Morgan a letter of the things that I'm doing for the week. What I feel about our relationship. I give it to her, hide it in her purse or something. It's just something, a communication thing.
I have to pick up on something.
Dude,
like that.
it's great. I started with an emailing she associates her email. It's a long story, but anyway. So all those things are a part of my rhythm. And when I when I start to get super depressed or this, that, and the other, some of those things start to go away. I don't spend as much time on my meditation as I want to, or I don't, work out in the mornings when I want to. So when all that stuff gets going, the first thing that I do is, oddly enough, I'll set some time out for family, and we'll watch. The other night we watched Space Jam. Yeah. Best thing in the world. Yeah. So that got me gratitude, and then I started practicing my gratitude more, and that's what kind of gets me out of that. What are your things? I
think just simple things. I kind of going into this week, I had a mindset of I'm gonna take it easy next week anyways. My body's hurting in weird areas, just because I've been training 2 or 3 times a day for a long time. So I'm training once a day this week. Nice. So I reeled back the training. I pushed it back. I'm sleeping to 6 a.m. instead of getting up at 4, but just because I've needed the rest. Yeah. I've been on the go. So it's just kind of I know it's just kind of been blood because I'm not in my usual routine, but I'm also reminding myself you need this, every once in a while, you can kind of switch things around.
Right.
Because I know for a fact Monday I'm going to be head first up at 4 a.m., back on it 100 miles an hour. But I do think every once in a while you spread yourself so thin, you just need to take like that kind of decompression week in all areas. Reset. So, yeah, like, you know, I just keep it simpler. You know, I'll try not to have to run as many errands, and, you know, I'll just kind of train when I feel like it that day. And so, like, all right, I got to do it this time.
So it's more or less regimented, if you will.
I'll hang out with Kate. You know, we'll chill on the couch a little bit and just kind of relax. Right. You know, I'll give my dog a little more attention, just little things. Read. I might even screw around and play some Skyrim. Yeah. You know, I'm not much of a gamer, but every once in a while I like to play Skyrim because I just, you know, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in when you get in those down and out, and I try my best to ride or like go get a dirt bike and go ride. Or when I start fighting and doing those things, like I'll probably turn to that a lot. Mm-hmm. I just think that when people and I just wanted to give something tangible, just because I feel like I'm on this earth to create value. Yeah. But I think that you should always kind of revert back to what makes you happy. Yeah. So like being less like I'm not a regimented person, so when I get too regimented, I'm the same way. I'm out of like, I need to get out of this pattern and do something fun. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like go out to drinks with friends and little stuff like that. So I just think that's huge. Yeah. I think slowing down, and instead of doing 4:30 every day, go sleep till 6, 7. Who cares?
That's what I was saying. Like goes back to back to the simplicity. Like I just kind of revert to that. Like taking this week to just simplify things. Yeah. Still being productive, still getting shit done I need to. Right. But simplifying a little bit more. Now, I found, like, even today, I'm like, nothing's been simple about today. I've been 100 miles an hour since I got up this morning. I'm like, shit. I guess I got to write that off. But I do have a weekend of not travel coming up, which is nice.
I know that's
right. About time.
I love it.
About time.
I love it. That's good.
But
I'm going to steal that.
Hell yeah.
Simplicity.
Simplicity's key sometimes, man. It really is. You gotta just really embrace the small things and just take a breath.
I agree.
Sometimes.
Gratitude. Tell
them. But so we're getting towards the end of this.
Yeah.
I think it's been an awesome talk. I'm looking forward to doing this again, man. I want to now that people know who you are, what you're all about. Yeah. You know, I think down the road we're gonna come up on a subject that'll be interesting just to go off on.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And I hope to do that with everybody that's a part of this. Like we get this intro episode done and get people to know you, and then get the same people back on, and we just kind of go on some wild shit.
Absolutely.
I'm really wanting to turn the volume up on this podcast. I mean, it's going to get wild, dude. We're gonna, who knows?
Strippers,
someone might die on this.
Drugs.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't want anybody dying.
But are you?
You never know. Strippers, drugs. Like, babe, don't mind. Stuff. Like, Kate's looking out the window. I'm like, listen, it's for the podcast.
It's not for me. It's just strippers.
It's Tyler. It's on Tyler, I swear. Yeah.
Oh, that's my life.
Morgan. Yeah, he's trouble. But no, anyways, dude, I'm so thankful for you coming on here. It means the world to me that you want to be a part of it, and I look forward to seeing where we go, man. And down the road we'll talk about other things coming up. But as we roll out of here, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, man, and how to see what you got going on.
All right, so I'm an Instagram junkie. Okay, I'm ashamed to admit it, but it's _Tylor Gentry on Instagram, _TYLOR, because I have a twin brother and my mom hates me. I'm just kidding. _Tylor Gentry, Ambition Threads Co. on Instagram, ambitionthreads.com. Just get on there and grab you some cool stuff. We also have that discount code, Relentless Ambition, 20% off, 48 hours. Make sure you guys stick to that. I'll be sharing that on my story. But man, if anything, you don't buy anything from me, you don't buy anything from you. Just do good things, man. Let's change the world.
Yeah, let's change the world.
Let's keep it rocking and rolling.
Let's conquer the world and do good shit.
And win.
Yeah, win, always.
Love it.
Also, go support my boy, Logan Hyder. With
Cinema.
Cinema? I keep forgetting.
I actually changed it. We had that conversation last time. Now it's
Cinema 83 LLC. Check him out if you want some good videos and stuff. Check out Relentless_Pursuit. On Instagram, relentlesspursuitlifestyle.com. And yeah, definitely use that discount code and follow what we got going on. Tyler and I are going to be doing some projects together that we haven't let y'all know, but it's going to be rad. It's going to be badass. But thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Hell yeah, dude.
Fuck.
My boy. That was fun.
I love it, dude.
It's always fun, man.
I love podcasts.
It is.
I love talking.
I'm glad we got it. I'm stoked to finally get it going.
Yeah.
It was a weird step into it because I'm like, what if I fucking suck at doing podcasts?
Dude, and even if you do, you end up getting better.
True. Always room for improvement.
100%.
So.